Welcome back to Out to Lunch. My name is Dennis Greene. I'm taking you out to lunch today. Find all of the great ways to listen to WRMN. We aren't just radio anymore. Although radio is the staple, radio is the bread and butter, the AM dial will never go away. I'm one of those die-hard people. AM radio won't go away because for me, you can't physically take it away. I'd like to see you try. I'd like to see you stop the AM radio bandwidth and maybe there. I mean, it's not good enough for Wi-Fi. It's not fast enough for anything else. So you know what we're going to use it for? Some great conversations. You can find those great conversations at WRMN 1410 on the dial. It's the AM dial, as we said. WRMN1410.com is another place to find more information for that. But I'd like to talk about some information that you can find out there on the internet. You already are there. You're already watching us. You're already listening. You're already streaming. You've already got the Library of Alexandria stuck in your pocket right now. Head on over to KaneCountyConnects.com. KaneCountyConnects.com has a lot of great information. Sign up, get your own account on KaneCountyConnects.com. And to talk about Kane County and the Kane County government, of course, I've got the Public Information Officer. That would be Julie Mann. Thank you very much, Julie, for being here with me today.
Dennis, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Sorry, you're on that one.
There we go. Am I? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. I do want to not leave out your fantastic history of being in this industry of communication. Can we start just a little bit from there? Because you don't get an esteemed position like Public Information Officer of an entire county with having some experience in communication.
Yeah, so it's been a career, sure. I love, first of all, small market radio. I believe in it. You're right. Radio is never going away. People need it. You're too addicted to the internet, and your radio dial will always be there when you need it. You get into your car, and it will be there. 7 minutes every day still is average. It's just for every person. It's amazing. It is. So hooray that you're still on the air and that you're expanding, I understand, and trying to expand towards the Fox Valley area. Bravo. I think that's amazing. Thank you. My career started as an intern at WGN Radio. Downtown Chicago, fantastic, with Bob Collins, the crew, Roy Leonard, Kathy and Judy. I mean, in a newsroom that had 8 people, it was amazing. I bounced there to small market at WFXW, just up the dial from you in 1480, right? Was a reporter there, and I covered, wouldn't you know it, Kane County government. So that it all comes full circle. I made a quick trip to DeKalb for 2 years where I became a news director at an FM radio station, then bounced to the overnights at WMAQ, which no longer exists. That was 670 AM. And then I landed my job in 1997. Oh, I just dated myself. At WBBM News Radio as a general assignment reporter and anchor. And it just went from there and moved to the Suburban Bureau, covered only Suburban information, including Kane County. And then became the managing editor to end out my career there almost 30 years, as you mentioned. Wow. So, yeah. Did you know the previous PIO, or is this a new position that they invented and said, we need this position here? You know, there was some foresight. They had some community outreach people early on that actually I'll get back into in the history of Kane County Connects. Yeah. But no, the Public Information Officer is a brand new position. They felt it was necessary for a community outreach. Someone that could be there to make sure that the press releases were done correctly, that people understood the good work that Kane County was doing. They do so much, and a lot of people don't know what they do. But once you start talking about what they do, that makes sense. Of course, sure. Why didn't I think about that? And then it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper, and people think, oh, wow, okay, that's a lot. So I'm here to kind of express all the wonderful things that the county does, keep reminding people, and I do that a lot through Kane County Connects. And you've got a lot of different pathways for people to hear about you as well. Obviously, we're one of them, or radio or media or that type of side of it. I guess the terrestrial aspect of everything is one hand of it. Then you've got the digital side of the KaneCountyConnects.com,
But then you've also got a physical aspect of just being out there in the community as well. I mean, the grandstanding or whatever, just shouting carnival barker outside the door. So how do you use all three to kind of make this easy pathway to get your messaging out to the populace?
Well, let me start with the fact that the traditional route of getting your information out was through the local newspapers. And while they are trying and trying and trying, they're facing cutbacks. WBBM News Radio face cutbacks. All media is facing cutbacks right now. And I think that's sad.
It is.
We need good journalists. We need people telling us what's going on. We need people who are liaisons between our government and our communities, so there's transparency and people understand.
And it can't just be the Wild West either. No. And it has to be structured in some kind of way. And we talk also about the morality of just everybody being a journalist now.
Right.
Is another side. But that's you and I having a conversation outside of Kane County Connects.
Right. Well, there's
a blend between it.
Well, and there's the literacy, the journalistic literacy you need to have to understand what media literacy, so you understand who you're listening to is credible, that they're trusted. And that's a whole nother topic that we could go on for hours. But I find it interesting that, so you try to go through the local newspapers. A lot of them are just doing submissions now, which is great. So I write up things for Kane County Connects. I rearrange them a little bit for print media, and then I just publish them that way. That's very helpful. Yeah. Social media, back in the day, we didn't have social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're on YouTube as well. All of the Kane County board meetings and committee meetings are broadcast live on YouTube. Good thing to take advantage of, like you're doing. And then the newsletter, obviously, along with physical outreach, as you said. The newsletter has circulation now of 23,000 people, which in a county of 500,000 doesn't seem like a whole lot. Well, but these are loyal people who open it up, and every time I have at least a 40% opening rate, which means 40% of those people are opening it on a regular basis.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, in an off-election year, you're only going to get maybe 15 to 8% of people who are actually involved in local government anyway on that. So already to have that higher ratio just in opening those, you're already setting a very good pace to begin with.
Well, it was interesting too, and I get asked a lot about how I decide what content goes into Kane County Connects. Now that's a twice weekly newsletter. That's a lot of work to put out that much work, but that's how much is going on in Kane County that it's easy to fill 2 newsletters. So it's basically the decisions that the county's making, the programs that they've instituted, the issues that they're tackling, and really the services that they provide. I mean, it's easy to let people know that the Kane County clerk is the person that does the elections, when you need to register to vote. I suppose the Kane County treasurer needs a plug right now because he is the tax collector, and tax day is coming up on June 3rd. So, you know, the deadline's coming up. Those are very easy things to do because people just need to know what's going on, and they need the information and the deadlines and where to go to get what.
And those are annual anyway. Those are kind of like trash pickup day, like the cumbersome trash pickup day. I'm not sure necessarily what they call it, but it is something that happens every year.
But they appreciate the reminders that they're always there and they're always timely. Then there's the fantastic programs that Kane County has implemented. The Kane County Health Department, hope to have them on your show to talk about their Tell Us Your Story opioid awareness campaign that just launched. An amazing campaign that tells stories of people who have been affected by opioids and the way that you can get away from that and help people that you love. Kane County, on the same kind of note, Kane County Sheriff's Department and the State's Attorney's Office last week just announced that they have a Narcan vending machine at the Sheriff's Office for free. No questions asked. Go in there if you need it. Please get what you need.
I recommend having one in each of your vehicles.
Right.
That's usually where I have mine. I've got one in my car here, and then I've got one in the family van, just in case we need it. Oh my gosh, and it's easy to say that well, we're not drug addicts, we're not going to do, but you never know what's going to happen around you.
Right.
You never know if, even then with medications nowadays, people are overdosing on medication just because they weren't mixed properly or anything like that. So it's always good to have that, and it's great that they have those vending machines ready to go.
And on top of that, on top of the Your Story Matters opioid awareness campaign through the Health Department also offers groups Narcan training.
Great.
So naloxone, they'll bring some free you can get it through the Health Department. It's free through the Health Department. All you have to do is call them up and ask. and they'll show you how to use it, how effective it is, when it's not effective, and again, how you administer it. And it's simply a nasal spray. It's not that difficult, but you need to know the symptoms, the signs, what to do right after you administer it as well. So
exactly, it's kind of like you can know how to put a tourniquet on, but you got to know like to write the time and everything, the procedures,
the symptoms
for things.
and what it is effective on, and what
we've
it's
all
not.
seen TV. Like you get the actual training. Like
yeah, and it's free. All you got to do is call the Kane County Health Department. Not
That's
a problem.
Great.
So
that's great.
Yeah, so there's just so many things to talk about. It's in the county. That newsletter is simple to fill up. We also do a lot of things that people can't find lists for. For instance, all the park district parks throughout Kane County, when they're opening, where they are, we list all their websites.
Okay.
I mean, that's just fun, right?
Yeah.
We do all the farmers markets. We did all the veterans and the Memorial Day services, just to, so people kind of understand where they are. And I think what I've gotten a great response from is that we don't pick just one city. So we're not just Elgin. We're not just Aurora. We are Gilbert's. We are East Dundee. We are Montgomery. We're out in Virgil. We're in Canelan. I mean, so you pick your town, and we will try to make sure that that newsletter at least touches you once. So you understand. Somebody said to me, I didn't understand there were that many communities in Kane County. And I said, no, there's 30 of them, but okay.
My goodness.
Yeah, but people don't hear about what's going on in their own community, and that's what Kane County Connects tries to do.
Absolutely. And when you go to KaneCountyConnects.com, you have a place to subscribe. So when I subscribe to KaneCountyConnects.com, what am I subscribing to? Am I subscribing to the newsletter, or am I subscribing to more than that?
Yeah, actually, KaneCountyConnects.com is just the place. It's called our blog.
Okay.
That's where all of our news stories live. So you'll have the active ones up front, but you can go to see past articles. You can go all the way back to 2022 when I took over the newsletter.
Wow.
But the newsletter is what you will be signing up for. And then through your email account, you will get the newsletter delivered right to your inbox on Tuesdays and Thursdays, typically around 9:30 every morning. So.
Yep. You've got the meeting calendar right there on the bottom as well, and a link right to the Kane County government website.
Absolutely. You can watch the YouTube from there, and we always include weather. We always include news you can use, which is typically state news, things that are going on around the state that might interest you. Obviously, cicadas have been really big. We have two regular features, Pet of the Week, which comes from Kane County Animal Control. Happy puppy and kitty faces that need to be adopted into their forever homes.
Congratulations, Sienna. Congratulations.
Yes, she's adorable. And then obviously Pam Otto, who's with the St. Charles Park District, well known for all of her nature conservatory efforts and her wonderful knowledge of all things insects. She has a column every Thursday called Good Natured. So
that's amazing. Go to Kane County Connects. Julie Mann does a fantastic job managing that. Julie Mann is the public information officer with the Kane County government, KaneCountyConnects.com. So now I want to shift just a little bit, Julie, if we can, about your experiences as a broadcaster riding the wave of the OTT, the over the top, as it's swelled up through it. Before, I would say, let's say early 2000s or so, it was starting to get a little bit easier for people to have personal websites and things along that side. We didn't necessarily have YouTube or anything on that. The first range of YouTube, independent journalists flooded towards it. Then Viacom stepped in and kind of squashed that side of it. My question here is this new revolution that we're seeing in independent journalism that's primarily focused on micro blogging and micro vlogging, I guess, is really the aspect to kind of use the same terminology. Is this for the better overall, or is this for the better as we are right now? See, for me, just to kind of preface my opinion for it, is I think this is just a stepping stone. I think we have to get through this juvenile side of independent journalism until we finally start galvanizing back to what is trusted media. So what are your thoughts along that line of the new digital media and the new independent journalists, quote unquote, that are rising up right now?
Well, I call them citizen journalists,
Okay.
right? Okay. So I think there's there's a good and a bad there, and I don't mean to have a split decision there. But I think the good is that people are interested. They want to take a dive into subjects that matter to them. They want people to know what's going on. I know that when I was at WBBM News Radio, we used to be able to use people who were on the scene. I mean, you have someone who's out there live with Facebook. A small plane has just crashed, and I can obviously see it.
Yeah.
So I know that there's an issue going on out there. Then we were able to find witnesses very quickly, as opposed to having to go to the scene and find them. We're just able to get them on the phone and obviously live through the studio, through the lines of Facebook, which sound like, an ISDN line. So it wasn't, it was an amazing quality.
So quote unquote, boots on the ground are easier.
Ground. Right. Boots on the ground were easier, although you did have to make sure that you had official confirmation of things, but at least you knew that if I had to send someone way out to Joliet, that I could see that something was going on and that people were talking about it.
Exactly. You weren't just calling somebody and they could sit in an office and pretend everything to you.
Right. The downside of that, I think, is that people then take on certain subjects and just stick to them, and we become isolated. Then we don't look at diversity. We don't look at the other side of the story. We're only focused on what people are telling us that we want to hear.
Yeah.
In many circumstances, and I find that kind of scary. I think as a community, I like people to understand both sides. That's why traditional and respected and good journalism has both sides of the story. We'll tell you this side and that side, so you can make your own decision. They're not telling you what to think. I think some of the independent citizen journalists that are out there they know what you want to think, and they'll convince you what to think. And for people who want to do that, that's just fine. But
yeah. And exactly, I think I have the same thing too. If you want to be biased and you want to make $1 million, just know where you are.
Right.
Don't call yourself something that you're not. Now, will it put an extra couple dollars in your pocket to call yourself centered, but then not be? Sure. But at the end of the day, we all have biases. Even as broadcasters, my bias is that I want you to listen to me. That's at least that. I have to make it at least entertaining on that side of it. But I think what's happening is these siloed news organizations and then the siloed audience, I think, is what's really dangerous to it, is you have to have discourse in it. And I think the other side of it, too, is you either have siloed information or you have people falling over themselves to be centered. There's one thing to get both sides of an argument. There is one thing to say, now we're going to have a segment on round earth versus flat earth. That's completely different. That's by all means, you want to both sides a argument that has two sides, but we cannot have journalists turning around and saying, okay, well, the round earthers, we need to hear at least 5 minutes from the flat earthers. It's like, well, no, it's a proven thing that they aren't true.
Right.
Why would we give them the same amount of time?
But and I will say on a positive note that there are good and bad and ugly out there for citizen journalists and people who are making money off of telling people things that they want to hear or things that they think are right or wrong. But I also am encouraged that people are interested.
Yes.
They're interested enough to get involved, to say something, to speak up. But I hope that the same interest exists in people who are listening. People who listen need to know who they're listening to, what their credentials are. When you see a newsletter, when you see a blog, make sure you kind of research the person.
Oh, yeah. Ad Fontes Media. For anybody who's out there, check out Ad Fontes. They'll get a nice grade. You'll get a bias report on either side. So in the last 5 minutes, real quick, Julie, the thing that I want to talk about is I think the best way to galvanize what we're talking about right here is I think we need to get the trusted sources back. When we turned around and said, nope, Dan Rather is going to tell me the news. Walter Cronkite is going to tell me the news. I think news organizations have kind of lent out their name too thinly, and we don't have those pillars anymore. Or argue, should we even have those pillars anymore, where it's a single person that we all agree to? Or maybe there's 5 people we all agree to. What are the dangers on that side?
Well, I think the 24-hour news cycle can get themselves into trouble. They're filling and they're speculating and they're just trying to fill time. And I get that. It's hard when a breaking news is happening and you don't have a lot of information.
WBBM.
Or right. If you have 8 analysts sitting around a table talking about something that hasn't happened yet, you've seen that. Okay. So I think that I think that people need an opportunity to sit down for that 30 minutes at night and watch their nightly news. You need to decide who you feel is a trusted news source, who your anchor is. But I do feel that we need local news. We need better local news. We need the network news. And I know that a lot of people dig on the network news, but I think primarily the staples, the ABCs, the NBCs, the CBSs still put out a traditional product for their evening news. And I think we need that. I think that we need that 30 minutes to remind us what's going on in the world.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for coming on today. I really appreciate you.
That was fast.
Talking. Yeah. No, it's only a half hour, right? And then with BBM, you guys. So the way I picture it over there is everybody's sitting at a table waiting to read their next article. Is that how you guys operate in the newsroom right now?
Oh, Dennis, this would take hours.
Oh my
God. No. We had journalists out everywhere, reporters everywhere calling in, doing their stories. It sounds like we're all in studio, but we all have equipment that makes us sound like we're in studio.
You're just connecting through the ISDN. Well, maybe not the ISDNs anymore. Those are expensive. But the Comrex units any of that stuff that's popping through.
ISDN lines have kind of gone by the way.
Yeah.
But
AT&T tried to charge us $800 a month to just keep the line. Yeah. That was before I called anybody.
Yeah, we bought into this really cool app that you could just go right live on your phone on this app, and it gave you
Lucy Live.
Lucy Live.
Lucy Live. We started using that in 2013 to connect to our Comrex units. It was amazing. It was amazing. You are welcome anytime to come talk shop with me.
Great.
Anytime. KaneCountyConnects.com. We've been speaking with Julie Mann, Public Information Officer for Kane County Government. Do you have anything else that you want to put out there as far as Kane County Connects?
I would just ask people to sign up for the newsletter. It's got a lot of good information, and get involved in your local government. Know what's going on. They are on YouTube. You can sit at home and watch the meetings. You can find the agendas online, look at what they're doing, how they're spending your money. I fully encourage people to get involved.
Yeah, get involved. And that's what we kind of talked about, too, even with the independent journalists. People are getting involved. If anything, get involved, ask questions, get your hands a little bit dirty. We have this policy of just like, I don't want to touch government. It's so sticky, and I don't want to.
But you also need stuff to talk about.
Exactly, as it comes through. Well, again, I really appreciate you being here with us today. Again, Kane County Connects, that's the place to go. We welcome Julie Mann back anytime. I love talking shop. I wanted to ask you about the 24-hour news cycle as it goes through and everything else, but we'll have to wait for another time. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
You're listening to Out to Lunch. My name is Dennis Sonar Greene. We're taking you through the rest of the next hour as well. We'll go through Tuesday News Day. We already got a little bit of Elon Musk that's in there as well. Some of the other things that are happening, State Supreme Court and Republican congressional primary elections top the Georgia ballots. Lots and lots of things to come. You're listening to WRMN 15, I keep going 1590 with WCGO. That's WRMN 1410. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the other side.